Welcome to the 50th anniversary of the Motocross Des Nations. 32 countries from around the world have come here to take on the best there is. This year's hot favourites, the Americans, are once again being led by Jeff Emig.
It's been an unbelievable year. Jeff Emig gets ready. We're underway. The final race of the season. Bradshaw and Emig behind him. Emig moves into second place with a good box-out-like move. The black pass for Emig. The City of Lights lighted up for Jeff Emig and Doug Henry. Heyday, champ.
That's great.
Well, Jeremy Albright gets a little bonus out of that, too. Here he comes across slowly but effectively. Jeff Emig, who is just going step by step on a marvelous career. And Jeff Emig coming across the line right now. Number one is number one once again.
On the second of the American 250 bikes will be John Dowd on the factory Yamaha.
Oh, the crowd's starting to go crazy here at Unadilla. They're a little crazy anyway, and Dowd takes the lead on a great inside move.
Boy, Emig's got to be going, what is going on here? John Dowd has just found his rhythm, found his confidence. He's riding relaxed and has caught Emig and passed him.
Here comes Emig. Bar to bar we go. John Dowd and Jeff Emig. What a battle.
Here we go, a real
out front, Emig making a move to start to come back now.
Emig is definitely responding to the challenge by Dowd, and you can see that Emig's starting to ride a little bit different lines, a little bit smoother here and there. He's not following. He's found his rhythm, and it looks to me like Dowd is not out of the woods. He may have caught him and passed him, but check this out. Emig right back.
Oh, such speed by Emig. A great clean move between these two guys. Will Emig use up the track on John Dowd on this final lap? Where will Dowdy make his move? He cuts to the inside. Dowdy's got a wheel. No, Emig comes back. Emig got the tire to the ground quicker.
We were able to catch up with John Dowd and talk to him about his great finish in the American National Series and his team selection.
John Dowd, first of all, welcome to Europe for the Motocross Des Nations. After the first practice this morning, how do you feel?
Not too bad. Track was a little wet this morning. I think it's going to change quite a bit, before the race, but felt pretty good, pretty relaxed. So it was a little bit off the fastest time, but it was like that yesterday, first time out too. So hopefully by the time the races come around, it'll all come together for us.
Is the confidence high in the team at the moment?
It's good to have confidence, but you never want to underestimate any of these guys. There's a lot of fast riders out here and stuff. So we feel good, but at the same time we know we're gonna have to go out there and work hard. And there's definitely Belgium in their hometown here. They're gonna be very tough, and France has a pretty good team, and so we're just gonna have to. Hopefully we can get out there and get good starts, and just stay smooth and no crashes or anything like that.
Could you have imagined at the beginning of the season that you would have been selected for the American team?
No, not at all. I was very surprised when they asked me to go.
Then we caught up with Steve Lamson, the American 125 rider, who is back at the Des Nations yet again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be, on the team. Not many guys get to come over here and support their country like this, and it's great. I think we got a good team this year, John Dowd and Jeff Emig and myself. So I think we should go out there and do good. I didn't win the championship in 125 outdoors, so I was kind of bummed out about that, and I didn't win any races. So this would be great to come out here and win this and make the year a lot better.
Riding for the prestigious French team at this year's Motocross Des Nations, bike number 4, Yamaha-mounted David Wulleman, switched to Yamaha last year, rode in the USA, had a particularly strong year, and supporting him is Frederick Vial, 250 mounted today, normally to be seen in the 125 GPs, and between them they'll make a formidable pair. The third rider in the French squad is Frederick Bollet. He needs absolutely no introduction at all. Kawasaki mounted today, but on an all-time high, having just signed this morning to ride alongside Stefan Everts in 98. Then bike number 7, Marnik Bafutz, and he is the first of the Belgian riders that were the same team that took the trophy in 95. Stefan Everts, the current 250 world champion, flying the flag for Belgium. And then the third member of the team on that incredible Husaberg machine, Joel Smets. Other riders that could upset the apple cart, Jamie Dobb from Great Britain, Pit Byra riding out of Germany, Brian Jorgensen from Denmark, and Kiko Chiodi, the 125 world champion, riding today for Italy on the 250 machine. The scene is set, a magnificent circuit, perhaps a little too much water in everyone's opinion. 50,000 expectant Belgian fans, and they want to see a shootout of the best in the world. Race number 1 is ready. The 125 and the open class bikes are down on the line. 2 riders from each country. Remember, it's not an individual race. Never mind where you finish. You've got to have your partner's consideration as well, and you've got to both be there at the checkered flag. The 5 best heats of the day will go into the total score, and that's how the winning nation will be decided. The board is up, the gate is about to drop, and away they go for the first heat of the Motocross Des Nations 1997. Well, the Americans weren't happy in the mud, but they better be happy now. Jeff Emig goes through on the inside. Alongside him is Daryl King, the Union Jack we can see as well. That's got to be Kurt Nickel. Daryl King is still there. Jeff Emig, the American superstar, is there. Look at the stars and stripes all the way around the circle. What about the Union Jacks? Kurt Nickel on the 360 KTM. If he's not in front, he's very, very close. He's got Daryl King of New Zealand with him as well. They really have got the best in the world. Look at these muddy conditions. The Union Jacks in front. New Zealand is behind Jeff Emig. He's slowed down completely. Joel Smets is in there, number 9 as well. But it's all about the Union Jack, the KTM from Austria. And look at the ride that Kurt Nickel is having. You can see how carefully they're going. The mud is absolutely ridiculous. Whoever put the water down last night needs a long talking to. But you'll be getting no complaints from Kurt Nickel. He had a long chat on the start line with David Thorpe, and he was telling him exactly how to get out of the gate. Well, Kurt Nickel must have been listening very, very intently. Kurt Nickel now with Daryl King, the New Zealand rider behind him. Then is Jeff Emig. Well, you couldn't get in better company than that. Then Joel Smets. Oh, Daryl King has gone down just behind the signboard. Daryl King has gone down. Now the Union Jacks really start to come out the back of the circuit underneath the subway. And the British team will be waving furiously. Remember, it's not just up to this man. He might be riding his heart out, but it all depends where his teammate is at the moment. Well, there's some exciting things happening as we look around the field, and we can pick up on different monitors and different cameras that are alongside us. Right now, Kurt Nickel, everything well under control, and Britain looking so good. Britain was the first country ever to win the Motocross Des Nations back in 1947, and at the 50th anniversary they're doing it all again. In second spot is Jeff Emig. The problem is Kurt Nickel has got his teammate Jamie Dobb leading the 125 class at the moment. Jeff Emig has got a problem that he doesn't know about. He's looking behind, but Steve Lamson on the 125 Honda has got a problem. The bike is pouring smoke out of somewhere or steam out of somewhere. So even if Jeff Emig can get to the front, he's not going to be able to carry his partner through with him. Now, that's bad news for the American team. Good news for the people waving Union Jacks, because Kurt Nickel is doing a wonderful job and he could well go on to win race number 1. Jamie Dobb on the 125, Rob Hooper Suzuki, is doing an amazing job of work. The net result, if this can go all the way to the wire, England could lead the Motocross Des Nations at the end of the first race. But that's all hypothesis. It's all got to go a long, long way. This man on the Austrian KTM, Kurt Nickel, with a man with such an incredibly big heart, and he knows he's ridden here before, he's ridden for his country before, he's ridden for the Motocross Des Nations, he knows what the sort of pressure is all about, and he wants to get that big KTM across the line. The muddy conditions are just amazing. The Americans had some very sullen faces when they came to the line this morning. Well, they're going to have even more sullen faces, because Joel Smets, the newly crowned 500cc world champion, has just gone ahead of Jeff Emig, the American outdoor national champion and the Supercross champion. Joel Smets, well, his riding style is something else. He's got that big Husaberg, absolutely wired. He's got, look at Jeff Emig, looks across at him, eyeball to eyeball. He doesn't give a damn. That's the world champion that he's looking at as they go through the corner. Emig gets the better of that yet again. Emig and Smets having an absolute wheel-to-wheel encounter there. The American flags are out, the Belgian flags are out, and of course the Belgian fans, this is their national sport and they love it. when the Americans make a mistake, the cheers go up, and they know that Joel Smets can run with the absolute best in the world. Well, this really is four-stroke territory today. You've got to get out of that mud very, very quickly, and Jeff Emig is working as hard as he possibly can. Let's have a look further down the circuit and try and pick up on some of the 125 riders, because that's important now. Right, Steve Lamson of the USA, he's up front and he's charging. Monique Bafutz has got through into second in the 125 class. Then Federici is behind him, and then Jamie Dobb of Great Britain is up into fourth spot. But the quickest 125 man at the moment is Federici, but back to the front of the race, and this epic battle goes on. The Belgian supporters, there he goes again. Joel Smets on that big bike. He just takes a handful, but he's got reputedly the best in the world alongside him. But we'll see the showdown later in the day when Emig comes face to face with Stefan Everts. That'll be the showdown of the day. But right now he's got his hands full of Joel Smets and a Belgium jersey, and that's keeping him quite busy. But this is the man, absolutely faultless, not even covered in mud, because he hasn't been behind anybody for too long. So another lap they go off on, and it's still Jeff Emig in front of Joel Smets. And then in the 125 class we pick up, this is an important section, Steve Lamson is still in the front. Federici has now gone up to second, then is Monique Bafutz, and then Jamie Dobb. Jamie Dobb goes through. What a wonderful move. He gets the power down to the ground very, very quickly. Jamie Dobb has moved up into third in the 125s. This is what's going to keep it all alive. Right, just a little further back now, we've got Daryl King, who we saw go down in the second lap. So Daryl King has worked his way back to fifth, but all of a sudden Frederick Bolle has come alive on bike number 6. That's the Kawasaki. He wants to move up a position. If he can go past Daryl King, and yes, he is going to. So Frederick Bolle has moved up another position. On my reckoning, he's up to either 4th or 5th position at the moment. So he has got himself very, very well placed. But there is a war going on behind him, and suddenly everybody knows they're running out of time. This is 30 minutes and 2 laps of racing. They've got it all to do, and you won't believe what I'm going to tell you, but the way I see it is that Jeff Emig is actually holding up this freight train. They are closing on Emig very, very quickly. Look at them all. Frederick Bolle is up with Smets, then Bartolini coming into the picture as well. That's the man on the YZM 400, the bike that has proved to be the showstopper of 1997, and here in this mud this weekend, it's just been amazing yet again. A lot of people commentating about the bike. Now look at that, Bolle is moving through, Bartolini's moving up, Daryl King's got to get out of the way, but the man that might also have to get out of the way is Jeff Emig. He's only just ahead of these two riders, and they want to get past him. They want to get up onto the leaderboard, and they know from the pit signals that time is running out. They're passing all the way around the circuit. That's Bartolini. He's now gone past Daryl King. Daryl King going down into that very sharp left-hander yet again. That big YZM 400, it has been a pleasure to watch around the circuit. These really are the right conditions for that sort of machine. And that is the second of the YZM 400s. And that's with Johansson aboard the machine. Well, where can you go? There's no space to go. You can stick your nose in, but unless you can make it stick in these conditions, they're going to chop it off. Johansson on the 400 goes down, tries to get everything pointing the right way, and look at Bolle. Bolle is now on a charge. Smets has got to get himself moving in a hurry. This is Belgium's big hope, and these are very, very valuable points. Bolle coming through now quickly. This is the French rider that has been signed to ride alongside Stefan Everts for next year, and he wants to show them just why he's been selected. Riding for France today and closing on Jeff Emig, the #1 American rider here today. They really expected incredible things from the American team, but in the mud, they've taken a little strain, and Steve Lamson running into trouble further down the pack at the moment. Number 3, Jeff Emig, putting on a great display, but he's got the 4-stroke behind him. Well, these 4-strokes have proved just to be the power force. Joel Smets and Bafutz and, of course, Stefan Everts. They have been in the winning team previously, so they know exactly what it's all about. They know how the Motocross Des Nations works. They know that they've got a very, very strong big bike rider. They know that for the first time they've got Stefan Everts riding in the class that he has dominated. In previous years he's been on the 125 bike. For the first time he's got the 250 ride, and of course he's the current world champion in that class. We were present this morning when he signed a new contract to ride for the HRC Honda team of Belgium again for 1998, and alongside him for next year is going to be Frederick Bolle. Well, in practice they all said there's far too much water gone down and the circuit really is perfect for the big thumpers. They came out of the gate this morning so quickly, and it's been thumpers all the way through the race so far. Then we pick up on the 125s yet again. Federici is still there. He has done an excellent job so far for Italy, so he is the leading 125. Behind him, Steve Lamson of the USA. Behind Steve Lamson is Manu Bafutz, and that looks strange to see him on a 125. And then in your frame now, Jamie Dobb, bike number 41 on the Suzuki, and he is closing on Federici. He's not closing fast, but inch by inch, Dobb has had an amazing day so far. He's just been chipping away, and he's going to get there at the end, I'm sure. Back to Kurt Nickel, back to the Union Jack, back to the Hooters. This man has just been sensational. Jeff Emig has got no answer to him whatsoever. Neither has Smets, neither has Bolle. None of them have got an answer to Kurt Nickel. He really has stamped his authority all over this race. I've not seen him put a foot wrong on any of the corners, and the mud really has been bad. Steve Lamson has got a problem. Steve Lamson, the American 125 rider, has got a problem. He's gone down directly in front of his pits. Well, that's going to create havoc, because as hard as Emig is working, now he'll be going past Lamson very, very quickly, and the Americans' hopes of going on to the top of the leaderboard have just faded completely. Lamson had to finish where he was to even get them onto the leaderboard, and I wonder how much Kurt Nickel is being told by Dave Thorpe. Dave Thorpe has been with his team, locked in conversation all weekend, giving them a lot of advice. There's Jeff Emig still charging away. He'll possibly have been told that Steve Lamson has gone down. Maybe psychologically they shouldn't tell him anything, just let him work away as hard as he can. Look at that drop off. That's where they try to triple it in practice, and that was kamikaze stuff. They only tried once or twice, and that's Emig still on a rampant charge. But what a pity that Lamson has gone down, and that's going to cost the Americans some very, very expensive points. Well, we know that Jamie Dobb is still doing fine. He's up there with Federici as well. Bafut's in there. Jeff Emig still hounding away as the leader of the pack of the American riders. Looked very, very confident. Down on the line this morning, talking to everybody, very, very relaxed. Doesn't seem to have too many problems, looking very smart. He'll need a big wash and polish after this race. And he must just be wondering all the time, I wonder where my buddy is. Where is Steve Lamson? A big handshake on the line before they went to the first race, because unless your partner comes through as well, when they do the adding up, it ain't no good. So Emig almost on his own mission at the moment. That man doing a great, great job for Belgium. So Joel Smets, and I'm sure he'll know exactly where his partner is as well. So he's got everything well under control. Very, very relaxed riding style. Another lap completed. The spectators willing them on. There are so many Belgium supporters here. The atmosphere, if you've never been to a Motocross Des Nations, that's the one to get there. It really has been an amazing atmosphere since Friday morning, when all the campers started to pull in. There's nowhere to stand around the circuit. 30 minutes and 2 laps of racing. This is only the first race. They'll do some very, very quick adding up after this, and then of course the team tactics will come out. So Frederick Bolle is still charging after Joel Smets, and he's got more work to do. Let's have a look behind him and pick up, see who's the next one to come round. There's Federici. He is the leading 125. He is still being charged down by second place man Marnik Bafutz, the Belgian rider, bike number 7. So Federici still doing everything right at the moment. Bafutz having a very, very solid ride as well with the Belgium jersey. Right now, that's Steve Lamson, bars bend all over the place. He's got Brian Jorgensen behind him now. Brian Jorgensen, I think, will go through. Brian Jorgensen trying to make a move. That bike of Lamson's is twisted and bent. Brian Jorgensen moves up. And as they go up the hill yet again, we'll pick up with our race leaders. And the fight goes on for second place. Jeff Emig still there at the moment, but he's been pressurized right from the time the gate dropped. He really has been pushed around the circuit very, very hard. And remember, he's rated as perhaps 1 or 2 in the world. Stefan Everts and Jeff Emig rated as the best 2 motocross riders currently in the world. So they go off, chasing after each other yet again. Frederick Bolli is in there. Then that's Bartolini. He was sensational in practice. He's on the second of the YZM 400s. And then we'll try and pick up again on the 125 machines. Bartolini sets off up the hill. That exhaust note, quite amazing. And the crowds run from one side of the circuit to the other. They have to come down here under very, very heavy braking. They come across to see that YZM 400. The noise that it makes going up there. This machine is a 4-stroke revving to 12,000 RPM. 5-valve cylinder head, and it pushes out some amazing horsepower. How much more work has he got to do? Joel Smets, this is the first race for him of the day, still with Emig. They still haven't given up. They want to go all the way to the wire. Smets and Emig. Smets is the new world champion, and he says, I don't give a damn about the Americans and the stars and stripes. This is all about motocross, and it's all about Belgium's national sport, and you're not coming here to hurt my pride. Frederick Bolli, he wants to get in there as well, and he says, leave me to the Americans, I want to have a go at them. Look at him jumping right up alongside Joel Smets, and Emig is certainly going to know that he's been in a race. We'll try and talk to him after his first race, and of course Emig and Smets will come through into the final race this afternoon, when they're going to have Stefan Everts in there as well, and that should really be the final showdown. So they'll have a break for a couple of hours, and then Emig and Smets have got it all to do again in the big grand finale. Now Frederick Bolli starts to get in on the leaderboard as well. He's going to start mixing it up. Well, Frederick Bolli certainly has worked through the pack very, very quickly. Now he's closed on Smets. The 2 of them down the main straight. Emig just ahead of them. Look at the head shake on that big machine. Bolli goes in tight in the mud. Whoa! And he pushes Smets. Bolli went into the side of Smets. Smets had nowhere to go. Well, that won't please that man at all. Now they go down the hill. Oh, and Smets has now got Bartolini. Smets and Bartolini came together at the bottom of the hill, so they must be getting very, very tired. But Joel Smets corrected himself from that. He's got himself facing the right way, and it's really, really important that he keeps it all together at the present time. They've got to be well placed in the points if Belgium want any chance of winning yet another Motocross Des Nations. The Americans have come here as absolute favourites. Perhaps the Belgians think that they can win it, but they've first got to beat the British team, and on the form that they're in today with Kurt Nickel and Jamie Dobb, that's a formidable request. They have been unstoppable, and I don't see who's going to beat Kurt Nickel in the first race. He has just been too good for everybody else, and Emig certainly has had no answer to him. Now Emig has got Bolli with him as well. Well, Emig certainly has had plenty of work to do. He's more than repaid his airfare to the American team with this ride. He didn't like the mud at all. He said that it was ridiculous the amount of water that had been put down, but it was the same for everybody. You could see on the opening lap plumes of mud and water spray. A lot of people threw their goggles away on the very, very first lap. Smets and Emig seem to have hung on to their goggles. Now Emig's still got work. Only a few laps remain, and now all of a sudden he's got Frederick Bolli riding for the French team on the Kawasaki, right up and aggravating him. Frederick Bolli pushing and hounding, covered in mud. Frederick Bolli certainly trying a different line at every single corner. Underneath the subway they go yet again, and Emig powers that Kawasaki, immaculately prepared. We don't have to tell you about the preparation of the Americans' bikes. Absolutely superb. If you can get close enough to have a look, they kind of keep them under wraps. and they are certainly very proud of that equipment. That's the big step up that they tried to triple in practice yesterday, and it very nearly worked. And Frederick Bolle goes down. Frederick Bolle, that's a very, very important points lost for him. Frederick Bolle has gone down. Now he's got to get himself facing the right way, get his rhythm going again. I don't know if he's hurt his arm or not. The bike laden up with mud. Those are very, very, very valuable points for the French team. So a bit of relief there for Joel Smets yet again. Belgian supporters quite happy with that turn up, and they know that they're running out of time. Jeff Emig is certainly running out of time. Kurt Nickel has continued to just run away from him in this race, and Emig has never looked like having an answer. Well, Frederick Bolle might have gone down and got missing, but there's plenty more snapping at the heels of Jeff Emig. I'm sure every rider here today wants to say that they've beaten Jeff Emig, but you're not going to get that accolade too easily. You're going to have to work very, very hard. That wonderful exhaust note of the four strokes as they come around. Jeff Emig goes away. Joel Smets yet again up the hill, and he's followed by Daryl King, the New Zealand rider. And certainly there were many people in the pits last night amongst the South Africans, the Australians and the New Zealanders that were very, very confident that the New Zealanders could come away in the top 5 quite convincingly. Well, a few more rides like this from the King brothers, and the New Zealanders could well be on the leaderboard by the end of the second race. They're going to have some work to do, but a formidable team from the New Zealanders. Back to the second place man, Jeff Emig. A lot of spectators have come here today to see the unstoppable American, but right now he's not close enough to the unstoppable British rider, Kurt Nickel. This is the time that he's really pulled out all the stops, and the cameras don't pick up Kurt Nickel even because he is so far ahead. They're picking up because that's where the race is coming from. Second, third, and the fourth place men, that's where the race is at the present time. Kurt Nickel has gone away to the front, and the Union Jacks are all supporting him, and many, many British spectators that came across to Belgium made the overnight trip, and they've come here to support a very, very strong and a very talented British team. Then the train of 125 riders come through again. Federici goes to the front in topless. That's a 250 South African rider behind him. Then is Befoot still in second. And in third spot, we should pick up our third place man, Jamie Dobb on the Suzuki. So he is still exactly where he needs to be. If Kurt Nickel can stay there, and yes he does, the Union Jack is still there. What more can you say about this ride? Every single person has supported him. He has just been extraordinary. Not put a foot wrong, and he must be looking for the 2-lap board very, very carefully. 1 lap remains. 1 lap remains for Kurt Nickel, riding out of Great Britain on the 360 KTM. He really has been sensational. On the start line this morning, he said he's going to get covered in mud, and he doesn't fancy that. He won't be able to see a thing. And Dave Thorpe just replied immediately, if you're out front, how the hell are you going to get mud on your goggles? Get out there and do a job of work, and you'll be fine. Well, he's done exactly what he was asked to do. He has been sensational. Out of the gate, at the end of lap 1, it was all about Kurt Nickel. At the end of 30 minutes and 2 laps, it's still all about Kurt Nickel and all about the Union Jack. Well, the British supporters really have got what they came to see. And of course, the British supporters know very, very well that Jamie Dobb is third in the 125 class at the moment. Federici is leading, Befoot is second, and Jamie Dobb on that little Suzuki is third in that class. Well, you can't get much better than that for the first race of the day. They started off in the most crazy muddy conditions. It's got a little better, and I'm sure the track excavators will take off the top layer of mud. Kurt Nickel looks behind him. You can actually get off and wash your bike, and they still won't catch you. He was so quick to look behind him when he made that small mistake, but he knows that there's a checkered flag very, very close, and he knows that he's got Dave Thorpe and 50,000 supporters cheering for him at the moment. Well, wouldn't that be wonderful if the British team can pull off the first race of the day? Kurt Nickel has been faultless, and I just can't see him making a mistake at this late stage. He has been faultless. That Austrian 360 KTM has been like a Rolex watch from the beginning to the end, and he must just be thinking under that helmet, I've done it for my country, He must well know by now that Jamie Dobb is very, very well placed as well. Dave Thorpe knows exactly what instructions to push out to his team. He's been in this position many, many times himself, and he'll soon be there to tell Kurt Nickel, you've done a fine job. Well, he really has done more than a fine job. The sun has been out all day, so don't be confused by the sun. It was the water that they put on last night that was heavy, and Emig, he's going to get pushed right to the wire. The crowd already now on their feet. One more corner, a checkered flag awaits him. To the right of the picture must surely be a checkered flag. Kurt Nickel has done enough. Absolutely ecstatic. And the British team members will be there to tell him very, very quickly where Jamie Dobb was, and that's what he'll want to know. What a great, great ride to Kurt Nickel.
What a wonderful race, Jeff. It was a little bit hard, no?
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, the Englishman, Kurt Nickel, he was riding just awesome, you know, and he got out front and wheeled it away. And Joel Smets on the 4-stroke, he was on me the whole race. I mean, I was riding a really wide bike, you know, so that he couldn't get by. But, you know, I tried 100%, and I'm very happy to have the finish that I do now.
Was it impossible to get Kurt Nickel?
Yeah, he was going great. I mean, super fast.
The conditions were very difficult.
Yeah, very muddy. I don't really remember it raining last night, but when we come out here today, it was extremely muddy.
Kurt Nickel, what a wonderful race you did.
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with it. You know, I took a hole shot, and in the mud like this, a hole shot was pretty important. I didn't have any mud on my goggles. I could pick my lines, and you know, it went pretty smooth.
Yeah, the hole shot was a big part of the victory. No?
Yeah, of course. I knew before the race I had to take a hole shot. And it wasn't a really difficult race. Once I had a 5-6 second lead, then I could just look behind, watching the other guys fighting it out. And for me, it was not the most difficult race I ever had.
You've never been threatened by any pilot?
No, not really. I never felt in trouble the whole race.
So you had your pace and went to the victory. So what's going to happen for the next heat?
I don't know. Jamie got a good result as well from the 125. So, you know, maybe a 94 is coming back again. It would be a miracle, but it could happen.
And so to the line for the second race of the day. This is the 125s and the 250s combined. Now we've got Lamson, Dowd, Vuillemin, Veal, Woods, and of course Stefan Everts. The track has dried out slightly. They've taken some of the mud away, but who's going to get the all-important hole shot? You've got to get into that corner very, very quickly. Number 21 is there. Oh, there's a pilot. Oh, Jockey Carlson gets off his bike. Jockey Carlson walks the dog down the mountain, and they go away. Well, that's number 11. That's Pit Byra. Pit Byra has gone to the front very, very quickly. Well, that's going to get the Chainsaw Gang out. Wherever Pit Byra goes around Europe, he's got a contingent. They can hear the chainsaws already. Pit Byra and the Chainsaw Gang. He's got his supporters out there already. Coyote up into a very, very nice position. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could see a replay or a slow-mo of that first corner where Jockey Carlson went walking the dog down the mountainside, but we'll try and get that for you later on. Meanwhile, we can see there's a Union Jack again, well placed. We can see that John Dowd is well placed. We know that Pit Byra went into the front very, very quickly. An amazing hole shot that this man got. The very, very popular Pit Byra from Germany. Up to second spot already is number 24. That's Alessio Chiodi. He has gone to second very, very quickly. And they go up the hill. Let's have a look at a replay. This is the start again. Have a look for Jockey Carlson, bike number 21. There he is. He gets off the bike. He runs alongside it. Number 36 comes ploughing into the side of him. That's Krajcek from Slovakia. And away he goes again. So, very, very good. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. Back to Pit Byra. He is still leading the race and pulling away at the moment. Number 5 has got onto the train as well. That's Frederick Vial. Frederick Vial having a very, very strong ride at the present time. But Pit Byra just looked so good when he went out. He got an amazing hole shot to get off that line so quickly in the back end. That's the back end of Kiko Coyote's bike, riding a 250 today. He is the new 125 world champion, but he's being told today which machine to ride, and they've told him to get onto a 250. Now what we have to do is we have to pick up on Moni Bafoots and Stefan Everts. Those are the two riders that are going to have to carry the flag for Belgium. They are certainly going to have to keep points on the board. and of course Great Britain after that amazing start in race number 1. We heard what Kurt Nichol had to say. Can it be shades of 94 all over again, or would that be a miracle? Well, he certainly played his part, and Jamie Dobb has more than done what he was expected to do. Well, a great start to the day, and it's possibly going to come down to the third race. But in the meantime, the middle race of the 3, the 125s and the 250s combined, the Italians certainly having a very good outing. The French looking good as well. The Swedes are always there. 32 countries have come to Belgium this weekend, and really they are from all over the world. A lot of help being given to the Australians, to the South Africans and to the New Zealanders. Philip Weah has assisted the South African team, and really they have been hospitality themselves and a great help to all the visiting nations that have made the trip across here. But right now the German flag is up. Pit Byra, when he puts his head down and his backside up in the air, he really can do a great job of work. One of the best outdoor riders, and he can turn his hand to Supercross just as quickly. So Pit Byra sets the pace in race number 2. Riders number 5 and 6, Vial back there as well. Befoots, he's only just had his first race and he's got to come straight back to the line again. So by the end of the day, they are going to be very tired riders. Coyote not looking that much at home on the 250 as one would have expected. Well, this man Pit Byra, many supporters, and he has got it well under control at the moment. Kiko Coyote, a man that knows all about winning, the new world champion as we said, and he'll be wanting to fly the flag for his country, because any one of these countries could still pull it off here today. Jamie Dobb coming into the frame. Well, really what Kurt Nichol said earlier, it could all come true. It's just the roll of the dice, and of course it's all about 2 riders, you and your teammate. So it's no good you coming first and your teammate coming last. So Jamie Dobb, he's certainly taken on the role for the UK at the moment. He's keeping it well under control, and of course I don't have to tell you that Stefan Everts is in there as well. You can see the Belgian flag starting to come out. The more I see of Stefan Everts, the more I see him as Ronnie Robot. He's not prepared to mix it with anybody. He knows exactly what he's got to do. He is super professional. He calculates the race from start to finish. His management, and we spent some time with his management last night, they are absolutely ironclad. They say that they've got a job of work to do, and that's what it's all about. He has to be on the podium, and if anybody can take Belgium to another Des Nations victory, then that man Stefan Everts certainly has the ability to do it. He'll pick off the riders one at a time. He knows what to do. Very professional pit instructions, and he knows exactly what he's got to do. So it's Marnik Befoots and Stefan Everts. They've been there before, they've done it before. This is the same team this year that has won the Motocross Des Nations previously, so they can rise to the occasion, and I'm sure by the end of the day they're going to be one of the front runners. But right now it's all about Pit Byra, and he really has looked good all weekend. He came out in practice and looked very good. That's the American rider John Dowd on the Yamaha 250. Unfortunately, Lamson had problems in the first race of the day. That would have been the points that the Americans might well have to drop at the end of the day, and it's going to be very difficult for the Americans, I think, to keep up on the leaderboard unless Lamson and Dowd can now put in a superb ride in the second race of the day. That of course will put plenty of pressure on Emig. Emig and Everts will come together for the final showdown in race number 3, and a lot of the crowd have come to see that particular showdown. I don't think Everts is going to get caught up in a race. He's far too professional for that. He knows that he cannot afford to race Emig on the day. He's got to race the track, and it's all about winning the Des Nations for America. So I think that might be a non-event, and I'm sure the Belgians just want a victory, never mind about Emig. So right now, John Dowd doing everything that he knows best, selected for the American team, and he's now quite happy to start mixing it with Frederick Vial. Vial, a very experienced rider indeed, riding in the French colours, and again these riders are so patriotic. They know that it's not an individual thing. Whether you've got the tricolour or the Union Jack out there today, that's what it's all about. They want to win for their country, and there's no homegrown glory. Of course, the Americans have won it so many times now, they take it for granted. But when you start adding up the totals, In fact, Great Britain has won the Motocross Des Nations more than any other country. It's very, very close, I might tell you, but I think in total, Great Britain has had 16 wins. The Belgians, I think, 15 wins, and then the USA perhaps one behind them. So those have to be the three favourites, and Great Britain with a history through the Rickman brothers and the Drapers and the Smiths, etc., over the years. They've been there before. But in recent years, it's all been out there about the Americans, and they've almost become invincible. They start to psych you out. The crowd don't care. They want the Belgian flags waving, and they want those Belgian riders on the rostrum at the end of the day today. Well, who is it going to be? I don't know, but certainly Pit Byra has done more than enough. There's our man, number 41, coming into the frame. That's Jamie Dobb. Well, he's just had one race, now he's straight back into the second race. He's done it once, now he's got to rack up some more points, and then in the big race of the day, it'll go all the way down to Eastwood and to Kurt Nichols. So they're going to have some work to do as well. Now we can see Stefan Everts, he's starting to make his move. We call him Ronnie Robot, but really there's nothing robotic about this man. He has got a job of work to do, and he will pick off those riders in his own time, one at a time. Dave Grant, the man that runs Stefan Everts, absolutely clockwork precision. Stefan knows what he's got to do. He was at a press interview this morning with Honda. He's not nearly as shy as he was a couple of years ago. He was smiling and beaming and talking to a lot of the press people. Very, very positive under Dave Grant's management now. And certainly this youngster has matured. Look at him now. He won't get involved in elbow stuff. He's just got to pick up another position. The fans know that he can do it. Look at that, side by side, and I'm saying they won't touch elbows. Stefan Everts says, don't worry, I'll go to the outside if there's no space on the inside. By the next corner, he'll have the inside line. No, he says, I'm quite happy to wait. I know that this Honda has got the legs. He said at the press conference this morning that that bike has been unstoppable all year. He certainly heaped a lot of praise on the machine, and he signed again for the HRC Honda team for 1998, together with his new teammate Frédéric Bollé of France. So a formidable pair, and they will run for HRC Honda under Dave Grant's management out of Belgium. So there is the man that so many people have come to see, Stefan Everts, calculating away. He knows he's got to pick up points. He knows that he's got to ride with Marnik Befoots, and he will know lap by lap exactly where he is, and of course he'll know where Marnik Befoots is as well. They need to go into the final race today, certainly on the leaderboard, in no lower than third position. And Stefan Everts can carry this team very, very well. Again, into the next corner, he's still got Vial there with him as well, but he's prepared to play the waiting game. That Yamaha is a very, very strong machine as well. Everts knows that if you drop the machine, the whole of the Des Nations could be over. There's no time to pick it up. If you lose 3 or 4 valuable places, it could be the showdown of 1997 come to an end. So Everts has got to keep it upright. He's got to rack up those points, and certainly if anybody can do it, Stefan Everts can. This is where this crazy triple downhill jump is. They jump down 2. We said earlier Jeff Emig tried in practice to jump all 3, and he was nearly in the very, very cheap seats at the bottom of that jump down. So they go down 2 and then 1. And Stefan Everts, the darling of Belgium, Harrises and Hounds, the flying Vial. This is the main straight area. They've been running wide all day. Now the mud dries out. Stefan Everts goes through on the inside line, standing up on the foot pegs. He looks so relaxed. He never looks as if he's racing. He just looks as if he's out there doing a job of work, and certainly he is. Now in his sights, he's got John Dowd, the American. Well, that'll get the Belgium fans up onto their feet very, very quickly. They see the American flag. Vial still hasn't given up. He says, I'm quite happy to latch onto the back of Everts and just have a quick riding lesson here at the St. Joseph Circuit in Nismes in Belgium for the 50th running of the Motocross Des Nations. 32 countries have come to the line. Hospitality unbelievable from all the Belgians, and the atmosphere in the pits last night, really wonderful to see the Australians, the New Zealanders, the Slovakians, all of them mixing together, having a barbecue, having a drink together and chatting. and that's what motocross is all about at the Des Nations. So right now, all eyes on Stefan Everts. They really are hoping that he can carry the team right to the front. When they start the final heat, he's the man that's got to be there. It's going to be him and Joel Smets that are going to have to put in a sensational third heat. The way I see it, with some early adding up, there's no way that they're going to go into the third heat as clear favourites. They might well be level pegging, but that's about all they can hope for at the moment, because the Brits are putting in an absolutely amazing display of riding. We saw Mark Eastwood there as well. So Kurt Nichols done his job of work. Jamie Dobb, we can't heap enough praise on that rider. And now all of a sudden it's the turn of Mark Eastwood. His father's been there before, but he hasn't. Mark Eastwood, we've seen him all the way through the GP season. His starts were getting better and better every weekend, and they certainly didn't elude him today. He came out of the gate very, very nicely, and Eastwood is well placed and doing a great job of work. He's riding on the 250 Honda today, and he knows what he has got to do. Jamie Dobb, of course, on the Rob Hooper Suzuki, and he's on the 125 machine. So Dowd, another lap completed, but it's a long way from over. Chiodi is still up there. John Dowd still circulating very, very well. But the man that they're all chasing is number 11, Pit Beira from Germany. Many, many supporters here for Pit Beira. We saw him at Paris-Bercy when all the chainsaw gang arrived and they stood outside his pits, revving those chainsaws. What a band of characters they've turned out to be, and they follow him all over Europe. And believe me, every single one of them must be here today. They take the chainsaws, they take the exhausts off, and they stand outside his pits revving those chainsaws. And right now he's leading. We don't even pick him up on our cameras because he is so far ahead of the rest of the field, and he's certainly having an amazing ride. So we go back to Stefan Everts. He's the man that's going to have to start picking up some points fairly quickly. He's well placed at the moment, but he needs to get onto the tail of John Dowd. He's been there now for a couple of laps, and Everts must surely be saying to himself he can pick up a couple of extra points by picking off John Dowd, and then he'll go off immediately after Chiodi. I'm not sure that that's going to be quite as easy as it sounds. He might well get onto Dowd quite quickly, but I think Chiodi might be another kettle of fish altogether. So Stefan Everts on the HRC Honda now, very, very well placed. John Dowd ahead of him and Chiodi. The track, although the track is drying out, there's still water sitting in a lot of places, so you get into the mud, you get your goggles covered. And we heard Kurt Nichols say after the first race, he managed to get out the gate, he got no mud whatsoever, and that was a huge advantage. And certainly that same advantage applies. Look at Dowd. Dowd now starting to race because he knows that Everts is coming as well. So all of a sudden, the Three Musketeers get a wake up. Chiodi says, hang on guys, let's just get back in this race quite quickly. All of a sudden the Americans want to start getting in, and I'm not happy about that. Quick look in the rear view mirror, and what about that man Stefan Everts? Has anybody ever seen him before? Well, they're going to see him very, very quickly, and if they don't catch a wake up, they're going to see the back mudguard of Stefan Everts. That's the yellow shirt, the yellow helmet. That's the man that they've suddenly realized is coming very, very quickly. Chiodi and Dowd circulating like clockwork, and all of a sudden Everts says, move over guys, I've arrived. I am the world champion many times over, and I'm not here to play the fool today. He loves that inside line. They all run wide. There's a very, very wide line there that's been cut by the big thumpers and the big capacity bikes earlier in the day when it was very, very muddy. So they all run very, very wide. But Everts has got a good inside line there. Now he comes up the hill. Whichever way Chiodi goes, Everts goes the other way. And this is what the youngsters have to watch. You have to hound and harass. And if Chiodi goes inside, Everts will go outside. He never, ever gives up. And although he doesn't look as if he's racing, he's riding with his head. He is a very, very professional rider. That's why he is number one in the world. Look at the race that's coming now. Stefan Everts, he will know from his pits that he's done more than enough. He'll want to pick off Chiodi. He's right up there with him. And I wonder if he doesn't already know the spot when they come into the main arena, where we said earlier the start and finish line is. That's where he can sweep very, very tight inside him, and perhaps he can dive inside Chiodi, and then before the right-hander drop-off, just go ahead and pick up some points. But no, it looks as if he's got other ideas. Up the hill they go. The top of the hill is a left-hander, and Coyote is still there. There's a left-hander. He had the inside line, so Everts is having a look all the way around the circuit. Stefan Everts will have a look where he can make a move. Now he goes to the right-hand side of the circuit, and Coyote knows that Everts wants to make a move, but where and when it will come from, he doesn't know. Now they go through to the right-hander. They've got another left-hander in front of them. Everts looks inside. That's good enough. Can he get the traction? Well, that was tight stuff. Well, side by side, Coyote and Everts. Oh, and Everts just goes across. Now they've got a left-hander coming underneath the tunnel. There's a left-hander here. Everts holds it together. Coyote's got no answer to that. Now this is where they'll go down the drop-off. Stefan Everts quite happy to just drop down there, sails the machine down there. So Stefan Everts picks up another very, very valuable place. They'll come up to the top here, and this is where they get into the main arena yet again. Up they'll come to the top, and this is where we said Everts has got a very, very good line indeed. Everybody runs wide except the world champion. So all of a sudden now we've got Dowd, then we've got Everts, then we've got Coyote. Just look at this for intelligent riding. He dismisses John Dowd as if he's out with L plates on his bike. Stefan Everts just picking them off one at a time. Anybody watching this profession, look at that. He just puts up his left hand, takes a tear off, and away he goes. Another two very valuable places. He's gone past Dowd and Coyote in one lap. Stefan Everts, he really is a machine. You never see him get out of shape. He never appears to get rattled. The odd time that he's dropped it, he drops it, and the engine doesn't even stall. He just clutches the bike on the floor, picks it up, and gets going again. Absolutely amazing rider. Right, back to this man, number 41, and isn't that good to see in our frame? James Dobb, still got it well under control. So Dobby is still in the frame. We've been up with the race leaders, but Jamie Dobb is just behind them. He is in the second wave of riders at the moment, and this is good news. That's the race leader. He's had no publicity today because he's been so far ahead. Pit Byra and the Chainsaw Gang, he is so far ahead. Then in the mid pack of races we saw the Everts, Coyote, John Dowd set, and then just behind them in the third wave of riders is Jamie Dobb, very, very well placed indeed. So Pit Byra, what can we say about this man? He obviously decided the Motocross Des Nations is the place that he wanted to make his name. He has been superb right from the time he came out of the gate. Coming back is Vial as well, but I think they've got too much work to do. Then number 41, Jamie Dobb. Well, these British riders, this is nearing the end of the second race, and the British riders are still well up on the board from the great start in race number 1. Jamie Dobb is having a great time at the moment, and Mark Eastwood is right up there as well. So both of them are going to score very, very valuable points, and we're certainly going to need a fairly long break after this race to start doing some very, very careful adding up. The point scoring system has changed from 1996 to 1997, so it's a new method of scoring, and we're going to have a look and see exactly where they are at the end of the second race. Pit Byra knows that he's done enough, but I don't think the second of the German riders is the man that would be worrying me, and Jasinski is not close enough up on the lap chart board to help Pit Byra. So in fact Byra's race win could almost be in vain, and that's a great shame, because if he had a stronger support rider with him at the moment, Germany would be very, very well placed overall. So Pit Byra goes away from us, doing click-ups already. He knows that the crowd have come to see a bit of spectacle as well. He knows that the checkered flag is not too far away, and he has done almost enough. Certainly he's done enough for Germany. He's done enough for Pit Byra as well. He knows only a few laps remain, and can he go into the final race of the day and take on the Everts and the Emmigs of this world? Well, behind Everts now is Dowd and Coyote. Coyote dives inside. I think Dowd has got a problem. Well, he's looking down at the bike. Either something broke when he landed, or a gear shift, or something has gone wrong. The American management having a look at that. I think Dowd has got a problem. The way he's standing up, well, that man certainly doesn't have a problem. Spotlessly clean, just like Kurt Nichol was. He is going for the overall victory. Stefan Everts has moved up to second overall. So what an amazing ride. He was down around 8th or 9th in the first opening lap. He just picked them up one at a time. The Belgian master at his absolute best. Pit Byra is on his own mission, and it really doesn't matter at the moment because he hasn't got a support rider. He's just gone away and stretched the lead further and further. There he is. And Everts, of course, knows that it's not too important that Byra is pulling away, because Everts is the man in the points at the moment, and Everts will also be told that Mane Pafutz is in the points as well. So showtime for Pit Byra. He's done a great job of work already. He can almost cruise to the checkered flag. I'm sure he's not feeling like cruising. He knows that there's still some pressure there, but it's not on him at the moment. So it would appear to me that Everts and Pafutz are the two people that are going to maximize on this event. And what a catastrophe for the Americans. Lamson with a problem in race 1, John Dowd with a problem in race 2, and that's going to cost them plenty. I don't think they're going to be on the leaderboard at the end of the second race. I think the French are going to be there. The British team are definitely going to be there, and a sterling ride from Jamie Dobb and Mark Eastwood in race number 2, and of course that sensational race 1 win for Kurt Nichol. So the Brits looking very, very good, the Italians looking good, the French looking good, the Swedes looking good. The Americans, I think, have got problems. So there's Dowd. He has got a problem. He certainly, something has gone wrong with that bike. You can see from the time he landed on that jump, it hasn't looked right. He went into the pits very, very quickly, and out the other end there is something gone amiss. Listen to the Belgian fans in the background. Elbows up. What an amazing riding style. Gary Bailey would indeed be proud of that man. Absolutely perfect riding style. And the man up front, Pit Byra. Well, we really can't wait for the third heat when Pit Byra and Emig and Everts will have the showdown. Don't bother to look behind you, Pit Byra. There's nothing but the mountains of Belgium. Absolutely nothing. They're not even in sight yet. And Stefan Everts is certainly not going to challenge, because he knows that where he is at the moment is more than good enough for the Belgium team to be in the top 3. So Pit Byra, from wire to wire, he has had an amazing race. He really has a very, very good ride from Frederick Vial. And then what more can we say about number 41, Jamie Dobb? During the week he signed for the Cat Finning team under Dave Thorpe's guidance for next year, and he'll switch to the Honda machine. And of course Mark Eastwood has done more than enough to keep the Brits on the board, unless there's a calamity in the next few minutes. Well, behind them, well, talking of calamities, here is a calamity. All of a sudden Lamson and Dowd are together. That's the Americans, the 125 and the 250 riders side by side. All of a sudden Lamson has passed John Dowd, so he will know that they are out of the points, and that's not good news for the American team. But for the British team, look at this, 41 and 42, Dobb and Eastwood absolutely together, so they know that they are placed very much higher than the Americans. You can ignore Pit Byra because he's a man on his own private mission at the moment. Pit Byra and the Chainsaw Gang, they're having a wonderful day in the sunshine, but it's not going to help his cause. He's got time to wave to the fans, and what a great character he is as well. He knows the checkered flag is around the corner. He must surely know that he's done enough. The 2-lap board goes out. 2 laps remain for Pit Byra. On the Honda, Jamie Dobb and Mark Eastwood. They must be trying to work out exactly where they are. They know that they've passed the American 1 and 2 riders, so they know that they surely must be up on the leadership board. What they don't know is where the French riders are, where the Italian riders are, or where the Swedish riders are. That they're going to work out very, very quickly, and I'm sure Dave Thorpe will be the first man down to the finishing line to tell them exactly what happens when you start adding up. Right, that's the man that we saw with a problem earlier, and he certainly has a problem. John Dowd has gone into the pits. The American team members are all around him. That bike is all over. So Lamson failed in the first race. John Dowd, his bike has gone down in the second race. 5 out of 6 of these heats are to count. The Americans now have a DNF against him. That's a major problem. But there's no major problem for this man, the current world champion, riding out of Belgium on the HRC Honda, Stefan Everts. He's being followed at the moment by Coyote. And a very, very good ride he's having indeed. So that's the 250 world champion being followed by the 125 world champion. You can't get much better than that, all on the same day. And we saw Joel Smets earlier on, the 500 world champion. He'll be back later in the day, and the track will be a little drier, and I'm sure everybody will be a little braver when they know their points. Stefan Everts, 1.5 laps remain. He's worked his way through from about 8th position overall into a very, very enviable 3rd overall, I would imagine, at the moment. You'll pick up Pit Byra is there, then it must be Coyote, then I would imagine that Everts has got his way up to 3rd overall. Listen to the fans, and Pit Byra, what a popular young man this is. Again, signals to the crowd, and he says it's just all in a day's work. I'm having a whole lot of fun. Is it the 1 lap or is it the checkered flag? Well, from the wheelie, it's the checkered flag. Pit Byra has done enough. He will take the race win in heat number 2. Stefan Everts will go through for 2nd overall, and Coyote must surely be directly behind him. There's Coyote. Well, start doing your own adding up if you want. I say that it's Belgium, Italy and England, incredibly close, but let's wait for the official results.
So Pete, this is a perfect race. You grabbed your shot and you finished first.
Yeah, it was just great. I had a really good start. It was a little bit dangerous to going inside that first turn, but I saved it, so then I was going smooth and easy. I thought it gave me a lot of confidence to race so close to Stefan last week in Galdorf. So I know if somebody want to beat me, you have to go really fast. Just keep me really easy and smooth. I didn't make so many mistakes. Yeah, just a great race.
The conditions are very hard.
Yeah, it's really difficult and dangerous to ride now because the bumps are so high, and also dangerous to jump off. They had a lot of water on the track, so it made it really difficult. But yeah, maybe it was good for me.
Then we spoke to the class winner in the 125 class, none other than Jamie Dobb.
So, James, a very hard day. Is it a very hard conditions now?
Yeah, it's getting real rough, the track. It's slick in some areas where the stones are coming through, so you've got to really concentrate.
Yeah. You've been back in Europe for 125. How does it feel to meet the pilots you've been to before?
It feels real good. I mean, the American guys have come across, and basically they didn't really want me there this year, and I've proved when they've come back and I've smoked them all, so they can kiss my ass now.
So Kurt won the first heat. England's probably able to win.
Yeah, we've got a real good chance if Kurt can do exactly the same as he did in the first race. I mean, Mark rode awesome, and we've just got to keep his fingers crossed. I mean, we're doing our best, and if we can win, I mean, it's all good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With his roll-off trailing behind him, we spoke to a very disappointed Steve Lamson.
So Steve, this is one of those days you want to forget.
Yeah, I mean, things just weren't going my way. Lost my roll-offs right at the beginning, and then so I had no tear-offs or nothing like that. And then I ran in, got little banners in my back wheel and lost my back brake for a couple laps. So just wasn't a good day for me at all.
What happened in the first heat? You fell?
Yeah, it was the track was pretty muddy in the backside over there, and I hit a kicker and lost the back end, and it spun me about and bent my bars really bad. So had some bad luck today.
What about the chances of the United States now?
I have no idea how everyone finished, so I know John Dowd had a problem, so it's not looking too sweet right now, I know that.
Well, we thought he'd done a blistering job of work, Stefan Everts, but when we spoke to him, he was still conservative and not too sure about the future.
So Stefan, second, you had to fight hard to get there.
Yeah, I took a very bad start, and the first straight here, so much full of mud, and you know, I got all the mud on me, and it was pretty hard after. I didn't rode relax. I rode a little tense. My arms started pumping, and you know, I did many little mistakes, but I managed to finish second. And the third race, I'm going to try to win. Should be possible. I'm riding good, but I just need to get a better start.
Was it hard to pass Viale and Coyote?
Yeah, very hard. You know, it's already so difficult to make a pass here, and then when you pass them, you just can't pass them, and you know they can pass you back on the same time. So it's really difficult.
Confident for victory?
Yeah, well, I have the confidence. Joel rode pretty good in the first moto, so we just have to try and finish as good as possible.
Well, that says it all, but it's back down to the line for the third and final race. This is the 250s in the open class. The points are Italy 25, Belgium 25, England 25. Everything to race for. Whoever finishes in front is going to win the 97 Motocross Des Nations. This whole shot could well be the most important. Away they go. They've cleared some more mud away. Can the big thumpers get there again? We can see the yellow of Belgium going straight to the front. That must surely be Joel Smets. Well, we don't see the yellow shirt anymore. We can see Smets is on the far side. Who's going to come out in front? Smets is there. There's a Honda there. Oh, number 3's got in there as well. Jeff Emig, the American rider, is back. Then it's Smets. Then I think we've got number 42 in there as well. Mark Eastwood, I'm sure, got a very, very good start. Number 11 on the outside. That's Pit Byra. Oh, Pit Byra gets out of shape. And again and again. That's the man that we thought it was. Mark Eastwood is up there as well. Now we can see the 2 yellow shirts of Belgium. Those are the 2 top riders that have got to carry it through. Everts and Smets. So the Belgians are well placed. The Brits are well placed. Where are the Italians? All level points. Italy, Belgium, Great Britain, all on 25 points. Down the hill, lap number 1. Emig's up front. This is the showdown at the OK Corral. They all want to beat Jeff Emig, unstoppable in 1997. Now it comes to the third and final heat at the Motocross Des Nations at Nismes in Belgium. The 50th anniversary. Look at this. They go down together. Emig and Pit Byra. Well, Pit Byra's got nothing to lose. He knows that he can't carry his team through to the win, and he wants to take on Jeff Emig. Well, the Germans will love this to pieces, and there's thousands of them here today. Joel Smets wants to get in on the act as well, and so he is very, very quickly indeed. Byra and Emig, and Pit Byra is getting the better of him. Honda versus Kawasaki. That is one of the quickest Kawasaki's in the world, riding out of America, Jeff Emig. But right now it's Pit Byra, the German man, the pit bull. This is what so many spectators have come to see. He's a wonderful showman. And right now there's the German flags on the left-hand side of the circuit. Right now Pit Byra is leading the third and final heat of the day. Second spot, Jeff Emig of the USA aboard a very, very quick Kawasaki. But in third, and the most meaningful position so far, is Joel Smets. He's number 9. He's riding for Belgium, and the Belgian fans already know that Joel Smets has got the important third position overall. We need now to try and pick up and work out where Kurt Nickel is, because he's on the other big ball machine. Kurt Nickel needs to get up front very, very quickly if it's to keep the British flags flying. But certainly it's Belgium looking very, very positive. I can't pick up yet on Stefan Everts, but we might be able to see the yellow shirts. They are very, very distinctive. So up front, Pit Byra. Second spot, Jeff Emig, Kawasaki, USA. They cannot win here today. Jeff Emig might well fly the flag for America, but they are not on the leaderboard. That is the man that is in the best position overall at the moment. Pit Byra doesn't count. Then it's Frederic Bolle. So Bolle of France doing a good job. I don't think his points are going to matter too much, but there's a lot of adding up to do in the final race. Where are the Italians placed? Where are the British riders placed? And we've got to start looking out very, very quickly to see where is Mark Eastwood and Kurt Nickel, bikes 42 and 43. That man we know is the new world champion, the 500 world champion for 1997, riding for Belgium yet again. This is the same team of Befoots, Everts and Smets that have won before, and he goes past Jeff Emig as well. Well, these big bikes are just so incredibly strong. I saw a t-shirt standing alongside me earlier that said, Husaberg if you want force power, and that's what it's all about. This is force power in the absolute extreme. That is the 500 world champion, Jeff Emig on a 250 hanging on to him, and then behind him having a very, very good ride is Frederic Bolle, but it's not good enough. The Belgian fans will come to love that man next year when he teams up with Stefan Everts, and I'm sure on a Honda he's going to get a lot of Belgian support. So racing all the way around the circuit. Now Frederic Bolle says, I'm just as good as Jeff Emig. He might be the household name here today. A lot of people were all saying last night that the Yanks were going to be unbeatable. They didn't come out for practice earlier because they didn't have to. The top 3 teams transfer automatically, so they didn't have an opportunity to ride in the mud, and that came as a big surprise today. And I'm sure Emig and the rest of the American riders were in for a big surprise when they saw just what there was out there. So, Jocke Karlsson of Sweden, he certainly had a very good day's racing. Sweden always very well placed. Bolle, where is he going to pass him? Jocke Karlsson watching what is going on. Look at the speed of Bolle down that hill. He'll want to go wide. Now they've got to come up the step up and up a very steep hill. Jeff Emig is quick up here. But Bolle's dived inside. He goes inside Emig. But on the right-hand side of the circuit, they were snoozing. And if you snooze, you lose. Jocke goes through. What a great move from Jocke Karlsson, riding for Sweden. He passed Emig. And in one corner, he just went past Bolle and Emig. What a great move from Jocke Karlsson. The blue and white colors of Sweden. Well, that's a great move. But look who's coming. Do I have to tell you who that is? That's the second of the yellow shirts. That's got to be Stefanos Everts. Well, this is now starting to get interesting. We said earlier he is the machine. That is Stefan Everts, bike number 8. He can already see Joel Smets ahead of him, and he can calculate for himself who is between him and Smets. He goes past Jeff Emig as if he's just a highway bollard, and he just moves up another position. So Stefan Everts knows exactly what is going on. There he will be able, that's the view that he's got from that drop-off. He'll be able to see Joel Smets, and he must be saying to himself, Stefan Everts, keep things cool, keep things under control. You are the world champion. You've got the 500 world champion in front of you. You've got 50,000 supporters. You are going to have a reception at the end of the day to end all receptions if you can just keep this all under control. But it's early days. There's a lot of racing to go. Jocke Karlsson, what a great ride he's having. But I fear it's too little too late. The same goes for Bolle, and the same goes for Pit Byra. We said at the beginning of the day, it's all about teamwork. Lamson had a problem, Dowd had a problem, the whole of the American team therefore inherited a problem. So for Sweden it's too little too late. Jocke Karlsson could win the race, but it's not going to help Sweden. They're in a hole at the moment, but that man up front is not in a hole. Jocke Karlsson having an amazing ride, and really that move that he pulled earlier was just one out of the book that you'll remember when he sees this bit of footage for a long time. So 10 out of 10 to Jocke Karlsson, but he's got more work to do, and he's now got Joel Smets there as well. This is a 250 Honda against a 500 Husaberg with a world champion in the seat, and not too far behind him, and he can see across the circuit. Stefan Everts is looking to see what's going on in front of him. There's number 9, Joel Smets, the race leader technically for Belgium. He's got Pit Byra ahead of him, and that doesn't concern him at all. This is not about winning the race. He's not got to ride over his head. He's got to stay exactly where the team manager tells him to stay, and at the moment he's doing a really good job. If Jocke Karlsson was to pass him, it's not the end of the world. It's not a serious offense. Bolle is there, and right behind Frederick Bolle now. I cannot believe what Stefan Everts is doing at the moment. I spoke to him at the signing of the press conference this morning, and he was just so incredibly relaxed, absolute politeness itself, and he just said very quietly, I think Belgium can win, but we have a lot of work to do. The Americans and the Brits and the Italians are going to give us pressure, but he's just come out and he's done an amazing job of work. He really has. But this is what it's all about. He's been there before. 32 nations have come here to Belgium to take on, to see who is the motocross nation of the world. They've come a long way, but experience at the end of the day has got to count. In the Belgian team, they have 2 world champions in Smets and in Everts. So to take on that is a formidable request. In the American team, of course, they had Emig and Lamson. They are some very powerful teams. And 10 out of 10 to the younger countries, the South Africans and the Australians and the New Zealanders and the Slovakians that have come here to take on the best. They really have given it their everything, but They really are against some very, very quick GP riders. Frederic Bolle now, he's starting to have a good run. Number 25 is up there as well. That's Andrea Bartolini that we saw. He is on that revolutionary YZM 400, about to be released to the public for 1998. You'll be able to buy that over the shop counter if you've got enough lucre in your pocket. You can go out for about £4,500 and buy a new 400 thumper. But meanwhile, look at the race that's going on. This is not over yet for number 21, Jockey Carlson. He says, never mind who wins the Motocross Des Nations. I want my name in lights here today. He goes past Smets, and all of a sudden, Bolle wants to do the same thing. But Smets, very, very cleverly, is not getting phased out by this at all. He knows that Jockey Carlson can pass him with pleasure. He knows that Frederic Bolle can pass him with pleasure. Now, all of a sudden, Stefan Everts is the man behind Bolle, and Stefan Everts, with his new teammate for next year directly in front of him, he'll be keeping a good eye on this. Everts and Smets now almost in touch with each other. So that is the open class rider for Belgium, and that is the 250 class rider for Belgium, both current world champions. Psychologically, that must just knock your socks off when you come to the line and you know that you're taking on two of the best riders in the world, and you've got to pull it off for your country. That's not an easy task at all. But Joel Smets, he's done everything right, and so has Stefan Everts. They know, of course, from management exactly where they are and what they have to do. They have to do no more than they're doing at the moment. Stefan Everts, super, super cool. Just Frederic Bolle in front of him. Then he can see his teammate Joel Smets. If they finish in that order, without doing any more adding up, I can tell you that Belgium will win the 1997 Motocross Des Nations. But it's not over till the fat lady sings. Anything can happen in motorsport. We've seen it so many times. The British riders are still in a very, very handy place. They went into the third and final heat. Italy, Belgium and Great Britain, all on 25 equal points, and almost the roll of the dice could decide it. If Smets or Everts have a mechanical problem or whatever, it could turn the tables. The Brits are in a very, very good position at the moment, and Kurt Nickel and Mark Eastwood have done a very, very good job of work in the final heat of getting the British riders through to where they are, and they are certainly going to finish in the top three if they continue in this position, and that in itself is a major, major achievement. They were saying last night that if they finish in the top five, they would be very happy with that position, because there is a huge amount of talent here today. But they're going to finish in the top three almost regardless of what happens. Look at what we see in front of us. The 1997 500 world champion with the 250 world champion right behind him. Well, the Belgium team manager of Joel Robert must certainly be wondering if this is going to happen yet again. The Belgians, they've won it many, many times, but I'm sure today would be a wonderful way to finish. Stefan Everts is the new 250 world champion. Joel Smets is the new 500 world champion. Can they add to the little country of Belgium the Motocross Des Nations, ahead of the British team and ahead of the daunting American team about which we've heard so much publicity? Jockey Carlson, what a day out he's had. He really has had that Honda wide open from the beginning of the race, and for his home country he has done a sterling job of work. Swedish rider, spends a lot of time riding out of the UK, and really is a very, very popular rider indeed. I'm sure he'll be back in 98 to ride out of Britain yet again. So Jockey Carlson, number 21, doing everything that he knows best, but it certainly for him has to be too little too late, because Peter Johansson on the big Yamaha is not close enough to help him through, and Pit Byra just storming away. That man really has been on a mission all weekend. We saw him in the second heat. He annihilated the field. Then he came to the line in the third heat, and you can see from his shirt he's not had one rider in front of him almost from the end of the first lap. Absolutely faultless. And from here, of course, they go into the start of the Supercross season, I think with Leipzig one of the first, and then some of the riders will come across to Sheffield at the beginning of October, and then they do the whole Supercross series with Paris-Bercy and across to Tokyo yet again, and that's where Pit Byra is so popular every year. Well, the two Belgian riders can see what's going. The storybook is unfolding in front of us. It's been 3 incredible heats. It's been a weekend of nerves. They started in the mud this morning. The Americans were not happy chappies when they saw the condition of the track, but it's exactly the same for every single rider. So stop the whinging and the moaning and get on with the job. Kurt Nickel had to ride in the mud, and he showed the Yanks. Never mind the moaning, he did a wonderful job, and it was a Union Jack on the podium at the end of the first heat. Well, I think it's going to be Belgium on the podium at the end of this heat for the win, but the overall win will go to Pit Byra for this race, certainly. And I know that the way they're running, the Italians are going to be up there on the podium as well, and so is the British team of Nickel, Eastwood and Dobb. And they really have come to Belgium and covered themselves in glory from the moment they arrived. They have been very, very popular with the crowd. They've done everything right. Dave Thorpe was down on the line with every single one of their heats, talking and explaining and showing many, many years of experience. They come to the Des Nations with a job of work to do. Jamie Dobb eloquently put it so very, very nicely in his best British English. They can kiss my ass. So that explains exactly how Jamie Dobb feels about the Americans. And he went out there and he certainly did smoke them. Saying it is one thing and doing it is another, but Dobby said it and went out and did it. So 10 out of 10 to Jamie Dobb. Well done. And well done to all the British riders so far. It's not over yet. I'm sure they're going to be on the podium. Jockey Carlson still keeping it all together. Stefan Everts now right behind him. And Everts must know, of course he knows that he's done enough. Look at the way this track is starting to dry out and the dust starting to come through. It was an absolute quagmire this morning. A lot of people, including Dave Thorpe, making some very, very strong remarks about the amount of water that was put down. And in fact, somebody went on to say they didn't think it rained in the night. No, it didn't. They had a huge number of water bowsers out and almost with mismanagement just poured the water onto the circuit. But there it is. Hometown makes the rules, and the rules were that the water went down. Next year, of course, it moves to Fox Hills, and I'm sure Great Britain is going to put on a show of shows. Stefan Everts, only a few laps remaining. Not one of the 50,000 crowd are going to leave here. You can hear the Belgian music starting to rev up in the background. They certainly are a happy nation of people. Not only were they happy on Friday and Saturday night, but the music now just starting to come out of those enormous speakers. They can sense victory. They know that Stefan Everts is going to keep away from Jockey Carlson. He's going to keep himself well out of trouble. And of course, so is Joel Smets. He's more than happy to let Frederick Bolle go in front of him. Frederick Bolle almost getting out of shape as well there. So Smets says, well, hang on, let's race right to the end if you want to. But Smets cannot afford, he cannot afford to get tangled with Bolle. He really doesn't need that in his life. And the Belgian fans will throw everything at him. He dives down the hill yet again. We saw an accident on that downhill earlier in the day, and all of a sudden Smets and Bolle want to start racing. Well, this is nerve-tingling stuff because Joel Smets cannot get caught up in this. Bolle's got the inside line again. Oh, this is so close. If Stefan Everts could see what was going on in front of him, he would be having a heart attack. That's the man that's got to carry them to victory. And all of a sudden, with only a couple of laps remaining, he wants to start racing, which is what is technically a backmarker, because France are not on the leadership board, and Bolle is riding for France today. Bike number 6 on the Kawasaki, and hopefully Joel Smets will just get hold of his brain and say, hey, calm down, fellow. There's nothing to be proved by getting past Bolle. And I'm sure the team management for the Belgium team will soon tell him that. Don't dare get out of shape. Victory is so, so close. Look at this man, Pit Byra, head down, elbows high. This really is the best race, and we've seen every single GP this season. Pit Byra seldom has had a ride like he's having here today. He started off in practice looking awesome, and he's just carried that right the way through the day. He really has annihilated the fields. Of course, he's been riding. He's had to ride as an individual because his teammate hasn't been up there where he needed him. So I'm sure Pit Byra has said, I'm just going out there to blow them away and try and get my sponsorship all wrapped up for next year. So looking very, very strong indeed. Riding for the Palmo Honda team for 97, and I'm sure he'll sign for them again for 1998. The formidable wave to the crowd, and they really do love him. They call him the Pit Bull, Pit Byra, and I'm sure the wheel's going to come up in the air yet again if he's got any strength left. There it goes. Pit Byra wins the race, but behind him, where's the yellow shirt? Wait for the yellow shirt of Joel Smets. Joel Smets and Stefan Everts, where are they? They've got to cross the line. Belgium has won the 1997 Motocross Des Nations. There they are. Stefan Everts is hoisted aloft. Joel Smets will come up alongside him, and I'm sure Mani Pafutz will join them very, very soon indeed. Well, this is national jubilation at its absolute best. You don't often see Stefan Everts in this sort of a form. He's a quiet young man, but he is ecstatic about this victory. It's a hometown win. It's Everts, it's Pafutz, it's Joel Smets. Remember, motocross is to Belgium what rugby is to South Africa, what soccer is to England, and look at the three of them. They can't believe it.
Stefan, the trophy is back in the old world, and what's more, in Belgium. How's it feel?
It's such a great feeling. I don't know if I win it. The last lap, the people were cheering so loud, and I thought I had it, and I'm so happy I did so great season, and winning Motocross Des Nations, that makes the season so great. I think for all three of us, we worked all three very hard, and I'm very, very happy to win it, especially in Belgium. Thanks to the fans.
So, Pit Byra, this is a perfect day for you.
Yeah, what can I say? I had another good start. This time I was only third, but I know I have to pass that other guy really quick, and I had really good lines, so I passed Emig and Joel Smets first or second lap, and after that it was just easy pulling away. I can't believe it.
How does it feel to be the fastest pilot of the world today?
Just great. I mean, the impressions from last week were incredible to win in Germany, but now winning again, because everybody said, yeah, you have extra motivation in Germany, but now I'm in Belgium and winning again. It's so beautiful. All the spectators are so great today. Yeah, it's great.
The trophy is back in the old world. What do you say?
I'm happy for that. I think some of Americans think we don't know how to ride a bike, or we don't even know what it's looking like. But yeah, today it was very difficult for them, and I'm happy we won. The World Championship riders, they work all year really hard, and I think they are always good enough to beat some Americans, and yeah, I think also congratulations to Belgium.
Yeah, I think for England it was a very good day, because, you know, if you look to our team, on paper we were not strong like the Belgium, so, you know, I think third place we can be very, very happy.
And USA is beaten.
Yeah, USA is beaten, but even for me, Belgium, I don't want Belgium to win, or anybody else except for England, so I don't care who else wins. But anyway, I'm happy that we got third place.
I'm very happy for the team, because in second place, too much here, no good. Today is very good. I'm very happy for the nation.
For the nations, for Europe, against the United States?
For me, yeah, also for me, for first motor, very good. Then second, I problem to the stones in the face. I go slow.
Are you going to celebrate?
Yeah,
thank you.